We all know that the key to cracking any entrance exam is good revision. But unfortunately, that is the portion which we pay the least importance to. And that is where I see students getting confused most often. Hi, I'm Dr. Rohan Khandelwal. I'm a surgery faculty, and today I'll be talking about the funnel approach for revision, which can help you in any entrance exam which you're appearing for. So, this is a common approach which is used by marketing companies and startups. And after consulting for a lot of startups and after working closely with them, I've also got to know about this strategy. And that's when I thought about implementing it for revision for your entrance exams as well. So basically, what these marketing companies do is that they first try to create interest, awareness, and then they narrow down the funnel in order to acquire a customer and to ensure that a purchase happens. Now, how can we apply the same concept to our revision? So, this is the funnel which I have created for all of you for any entrance exam which you're approaching for. Now, the key to this funnel is the first reading, right? Whenever we are preparing for any exam, this is the most important thing. Now, for some subjects, for somebody, this might happen in second year undergraduation or in third year or during internship or post internship. So the time may vary from person to person, but the first reading is the most important and you should not compromise on your first reading. And a friendly advice here is that don't restrict yourself too much in the first reading. It is okay to read some bit extra in your first reading so that you have enough to funnel out, right? You don't want to start off with less knowledge and then retain even less of it when you're approaching for the exam. Okay, so don't go for ultra shortcuts in the first reading. What should be your source in the first readings? It should be a mixture of books, videos, and notes, self made or already published notes. That's a decision which you need to take. You need to supplement this with QBank questions and its explanations. Rather than adding explanations to your notes, some people like to do that. I used to bookmark MCQs so that it becomes easier for me to revise and I save on time as well. Now, the first reading is also important because this is the time when you should start making your 20th notebook or your 20th WhatsApp group, which I've spoken about. Or, there are various names. Some people call it a choti copy, a last minute revision book, whatever you want to call it. But this is the right time to start making your 20th notebook. Now, once we've done the first revision, this might take you X amount of time, which of course will vary from subject to subject. But when you come to your second reading, that is your first revision, the aim is that this is a funnel, right? So funnel is becoming narrower. Similarly, we need to also cut down the time which we require for this second reading or first revision by half. So if you took 10 days to do surgery in the first reading along with the QBank, this should get completed in 4 to 5 days. And it is very much possible because what do we have to do in this reading or this revision? Just our underlined notes, not the entire notes. You would have underlined important things, the previous year topics, just those, bookmarked MCQs. You'll again revise your 20th notebook or group, and in reading this underlined portion and revising the bookmarked MCQs, you would have revised majority of the previous year topics and the previous year questions as well. And if you do this much, you can easily do it in half the time which you took initially. Finally, moving on to the narrowest portion of the funnel, that is the revision right before your exam. And after talking to multiple toppers and after having been through multiple exams myself, I can tell you that the most important thing is to get a visual impression of all the subjects in the last 1 week to 10 days before the exam. So that is extremely, extremely important. And that is your third reading or second revision where that kicks in. And again, our aim is to cut down the time by half. So if we started with 10 days, we came down to 5 days, now we will end in 2 days or 1.5 days. And we just have to do our 20th notebook. Some students, to get a visual impression, like to do their underlined notes again, just to quickly skim through them. You do your previous year topics and questions and your bookmarked MCQs. So that's all that is required a week to 10 days before the exam to get the visual impression. Now, there are some students who say that they require extra revision. I was one of those students. I wanted to revise at least 3 times before going for any exam. So if I want to do an extra revision, this is the revision just before the exam, I would replicate what I've done for the second revision, but just in a shorter time span. So that is what I'm going to do. I might skip the underlined notes here. I might just do my 20th notebook and the bookmarked MCQs, because I know that in my 20th notebook, I've already added previous year topics and previous year questions. Okay. So some key pointers which I want to highlight when you're using this funnel approach is to take a diary and to make a funnel for each subject on one page of the diary. Okay. So this should include your source which you're going to use, how much time you're going to utilize, and how your funnel will progress for that subject. Okay. Please remember that this has to be an individualized approach. It is not a one shoe fits all criteria. Means you can't replicate somebody else's funnel and try to follow that. Yes, you can take guidance from your seniors, from your mentors, but ultimately you need to create this funnel for yourself. This individualized funnel for each subject which you have to follow. And one final thing is that you might utilize different sources for different subjects, but try to stick to one source for one subject. Otherwise, you're bound to get confused. Okay. So just once more, I'm showing you the funnel. The key is to cut down the time by half, to have an individualized approach, and to ensure that you're doing at least 3 readings or 2 revisions. One extra revision is always beneficial. So this is just a very simple and a practical approach which I utilize, and I've seen students benefiting from it as well. So if you are preparing for your INI-CET, which is a month later, you can use the funnel approach to plan your second revision. If you're planning for NEET PG, which is next year, or FMGE, you have time to work on your first revision and your second revision properly. Now, of course, some students would ask this question that I'm just starting now with my first reading. So there, you said that don't compromise and try to read a bit extra. Well, if you're running short of time, then of course you can utilize the revision videos as your primary source to start reading. Okay. But in general, I'm talking about if you have plenty of time, then don't compromise on your first reading, because that is the time when you make the best concepts, and those are the concepts which remain in your mind for a longer period of time. Okay. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, just press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and do share it with your friends as well. I wish you all the best for your preparation. If you have any further questions, put them in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer them. All the best.